Shortly after the breakup with Jenny, I found another girlfriend. It was actually almost immediately after, and I was happy. Her name was Lorena. We had a lot of fun together, and we seemed to actually spend more time together than the other girlfriend that I had, which was Jenny, and I was really happy about that. We saw each other a lot. We used to hang out after school and see each other in class, on the way to class. Not only that, we sometimes even French kissed a couple of times, and I loved it. I even invited her over to my house, and we watched movies and we played on the computer. We seemed to click, and I felt comfortable around her. However, I initially didn't like her as much compared to the girl that I thought Jenny was, though. I also didn't like that she was much younger than me. And my parents didn't really like that either. She was about 5 years younger than me. I was 18 and she was 14. Eventually, as the year went on though, however, I started to like her more and more as I began to notice how beautiful, as I really begun to appreciate her beauty, and her personality grew on me. It especially started to grow on me during the summer. Around the summer, however, we started seeing each other a little less though. We didn't see each other like every week. We only saw each other at school and only hung out maybe like once every other week. But I still loved her though. At the end of the school year of 2003, I decided to take her to the prom. However, I was disappointed by the event. She didn't really want to dance with me that much, and she talked to other guys while we were at the dance. We sat at this one table, and she talked to this one other guy that I knew from rowing, and it was almost like she was flirting with her, but I couldn't really tell though. After the prom was done, our parents dropped us off at home, and we ended up not going to any after parties. I wanted to go to an after party really bad because I felt like if we did, we probably would have had a chance to make out, and we haven't made out for the longest time, probably in a couple of months, and I was disappointed. I had never been to a party before either, and I always wondered what it would be like. One thing that was interesting about 2003 when I was in high school was I actually joined another school in which I went to after lunch. It was called Go Lightly Career and Technical Center. It was a vocational school in Detroit where you learn technical skills to prepare you for jobs in that field. So, in other words, I actually went to two schools. I went to my high school in the morning and then another school in downtown Detroit in the afternoon. People from Detroit mainly went there, and I was actually the only white person in the whole class. I didn't mind it though, and in fact, I thought it was really interesting. I found I really liked. I thought people in Detroit were actually really nice, in spite of what I initially thought. I found they're much less judgmental than the people in Grosse Pointe, and they all liked me, and they all seemed to all like me immediately, and thought I was cool, and I loved it. I actually, in addition to that, I felt like I could be myself more too around them. In that school, I learned a focused skill, a trade. I decided to learn about computers. I decided to learn about computers in multimedia design, I decided to learn about computers such as information technology. In that class, I learned graphic design, I learned about animation, and I learned how to put computers together. I've always been interested in art and working on the computers as I did as a kid, and now I thought this was an opportunity to really be able to do it again. I absolutely loved the program. I enjoyed the kinds of work we did because I was always good at it. Plus the teachers taught in a material that was much easier to understand compared to Grosse Pointe South High School. The teaching seemed more slow and thorough. I did very well in the school, and I actually got straight A's. All the students and teachers admired me a lot, and that made me feel really good too. We went on many field trips. We job shadowed, listened to inspiring speeches, and even went on mock interviews to learn how to be successful in business. I joined Business Professionals of America and did a multimedia project for a multimedia competition and got third place in the region. During the competition, we all played at the Detroit Renaissance Center and went to a dance on the 60th floor. I thought that was so much fun. We stayed at a room where I literally looked down and had a bird's eye view of the whole entire city of Detroit. There I also hung out with a lot of interesting people and practiced my social skills, and I socialized really well and confidently. I found socializing with people in Detroit was much easier, and just about everyone around there liked me and looked up to me. In spite of the fact that I met more people and my social skills have improved, my self-confidence started decreasing a little bit though in the middle of the year. When I tried to be myself more, a couple people did start criticizing me, and that kind of busted my self-esteem. I started feeling a little bit more unconfident again, and I didn't like it. I furthermore began to realize that I was always in trouble. I still had trouble trying to fit in spite of the fact that I thought that struggle was gone forever. I now realize it actually still was a problem. I found it was hard to socialize and be in a group. I put more effort to try to be involved in groups, and most people did like me, however. I never really quite felt like I was part of any kind of group. If I wasn't with my girlfriend, I often found it was hard to hang out with people at school events. I soon became aware that my belief that I overcame my social difficulties in 2002 wasn't true. I realized that I always had trouble socializing, and I was kind of sad to realize that. I always wished I knew I always wished people were exactly like me. I always felt very different. I often imagine what it would be like if other people were like me. What would it be like if a group of friends that were interested in electronics? What would it be like to have a group of friends that were also interested in spiritually awakening and finding inner peace? A person who agrees that starting wars isn't the answer. I never agreed with wars. I never understood as a kid why people fight in wars. During this year, I learned that the USA was being threatened by Saddam Hussein with weapons of mass destruction over in Iraq. George Bush, our president at that time, decided that we should start a war with them. I completely disagreed. However, it seemed like a lot of people in my school wanted to do that. Not only a lot of people were going to die, not only that would probably increase the chances of us being bombed, but this would continue to bring hate, anger, aggression, and resentment cycling in the world. What good was war going to do? Aggression doesn't help the world become more peaceful. It doesn't help the world awaken and be in more of a positive, loving, selfless state. Showing the example of love is the only way. Aggression always leads to aggression. I thought going to war was a terrible idea. Everybody at my school, however, seemed to disagree with me, and I just didn't quite understand it.